चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Premasindhu Gauranga Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranams, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Thank you for joining us. If you're ready, then you can turn on your video, Prabhu.
Actually, I have a very bad connection here.
Okay,
So
okay,
I'm
no problem, Prabhu.
using my phone internet. So
No problem, Prabhu.
Wi-Fi is not working.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will just share the verse and keep it ready, and we can start, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah. Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya on a Saturday morning. We have the privilege of having His Grace Premasindhu Gauranga Prabhu. Prabhu has always been, sharing the nectar with us on various occasions. We'll have the privilege of having him today as well. Today the topic will be Srimad Bhagavatam. We will continue with Canto 5, Chapter 18. Today's verse number is 28. Prabhu, over to you. Dandavat. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. And my video is not switched on because our Wi-Fi is not working. So I'm using my phone internet, which is not very good. So just a moment. Okay. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter number 18, right? So can you go a little, scroll up. Yeah. Okay. So chapter 18, verse 28. So in this particular section, the different, actually, we see here that different devotees are praying to the Lord. The prayers of residents of Bhumandala who are situated in different places, they are praying to the Lord. So let us read the verse here and then we'll go ahead. भवान् युगान्तार्णव उर्मिमालिनी क्षोणिम् इमाम् ओषधिविरुधमेधिम् मया सहोरुक्रमतेज ओजसा तस्मै जगत्प्राणगणात्मने नमः इति. So the verse, it speaks about Bhavan Yugantarnava Urmi Malini Tonim Imam Oshati Virudham Nidhim Maya Sahuru Kramatej Ojasa Tasmai Jagat Prana Ganatmane Nama Iti. So here the Supreme Lord is being praised, O Almighty Lord. At the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, was inundated by water and drowned beneath the devastating waves. At that time, you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn one, you are the actual maintainer of the entire universal creation, and therefore you are the cause of all living entities. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, who is praying? Can someone say who is praying here?
Lakshmi Devi,
Lakshmi Devi,
Bhudevi. Bhudevi here, I think.
Bhudevi, yes. So, Lakshmi Devi is praying here that she starts her prayers few verses before. And in this verse, she's praying that at the end of the millennium, this planet Earth, which is the source of all kinds of herbs, drugs, and trees, that is Bhumi Devi herself. Bhumi Devi is a expansion of Shri Devi, or the internal potency of the Lord. So she was inundated by water and drowned beneath the devastating waves. At that time, you protected me along with the earth and roamed the sea with great speed. O unborn, you are the actual maintainer of entire universal creation. So, time and again, during devastations, there are different types of devastations. One is a devastation during the night time of Brahma, where all the planets till Swargaloka, they are inundated. Then there is a devastation which is there are very small devastations in between also. They keep happening, and then there is a devastation toward the end of Brahma's lifetime. So where all the planets are inundated or finished off. So time and again, the Lord, He is protecting the earth or the different kinds of species on the earth. Here, it is said herbs, drugs, trees, and also all the living entities. So sometimes the Lord will protect them as Matsya, and he will roam the sea with great speed. Sometimes he will protect the earth as Varaha. And definitely, the Lord has unlimited forms and incarnations. And so the Lord is going to protect the earth planet and its residents in unlimited ways. So that is what is being prayed here. So before we move ahead, let us chant words. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utaputram Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Saji Sadvaitam Savdhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Rita Shri Vishakhantamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Bhupeshu Gopika Kantara Bhakanta Namaste Bhaktakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we see here in this particular section or in all the Vedic literatures that in the course of this material creation, maintenance, and destruction, so many problems they arise for the living entity. Actually, for the living entity, there are no problems. They are simply some events because spiritual entity is spiritual in nature. So these are material events, and these material events they bring great trouble for the living entity because the living entity is identifying himself with material nature. So we see here what is happening if you closely observe that time and again in this material creation, maintenance, and destruction, uh, different problems are coming, just like the earth being inundated, which is spoken in this particular verse, or some demon is coming, or some calamity, great calamity is falling, and everything is falling apart. So that is the way how this creation is, and that is how the life of every living entity is. So there are problems, and when the problem comes, then the Supreme Lord is coming and solving that problem. So we see here that who is the personality who is creating the problem? It is the external energy of the Lord, Maya Devi. And when Maya Devi is creating a problem, so-called problem, because the nature of the material creation itself is temporary, so problems will be there, destruction will be there. So external energy of the Lord is creating these problems. And then we see that the Supreme Lord is coming and he is giving relief to all the living entities. So is it all pre-planned? Let's say that the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he wants the living entities to get attracted to him. So why he has to do like this all the time? Asking the external energy of the Lord to create some trouble, a trouble which nobody can solve. Everybody in this world thinks they are the controllers and they are doing certain things in material realm and they think that they have become the controllers. But when the problem is posed by the external energy of the Lord, a problem so big that the earth is getting inundated, or even a small problem like a river is overflowing because of heavy rains, then no amount of modern technology can stop it. So, what is happening here? The problem is coming through the external agency of the Lord, Maya Devi. And then the Supreme Lord is coming and he is protecting, he is giving relief. And when he does these kind of activities, they are called as pastimes of the Lord, Leela. So what kind of creation this is? A question might come to one's mind that the Lord, he has to create this kind of a drama or this kind of a event that everybody is suffering. And now then he comes and he saves, and then he becomes the hero, and everybody becomes attracted to him. So this kind of questions, they will arise in the mind of the inquisitive person. If the Lord wants us to get attracted to him, he can do it in some direct way. What is the need of first creating trouble, material trouble, and then he intervenes? You know, Krishna also tells in Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada hi dharmasya, in that verse he says that whenever religion is degrading and the demons they are taking over, then he will come. So now religion is degrading or the demons are taking over. The demons are taking over because they are their consciousness, chitta is affected by the three modes of material nature. Religion is degrading because that is the nature of this material world. Everything degrades. Ultimately, everything is happening by the agency of Maya Devi, and Maya Devi does not do anything without the sanction of the Lord. So again, the same thing. First, you create trouble, and then you enter and you become the hero. So this question might arise in the minds of inquisitive, or even if someone has love for Krishna, then he will not think like that. That why Krishna is doing like this. He might just feel inquisitive out of love, depending on what is the situation of a personality. He will still feel inquisitive about this. Why this thing is happening? Just directly throw us in Golok Vrindavan. Why you are doing all this? This pralay and that fire and water and air and disease, demons, and then you come and you act like a hero. Just throw us in Goloka. Game over. So to explain this thing, Srila Jiva Goswami, he explains this very nicely in Tattva Sandarbha, that why the living entities are covered by the external energy in the first place. And then all this happens that the Lord comes. So let us today see that why does Maya Devi delude the jivas in the first place? And we will also raise certain questions when we are studying this argument. And all this discussion is based on Tattva Sandarbha Anucheda 33. So, first question is, why does Maya delude the jivas? Why does not God stop her? If, so, if earth is not inundated, or there is no problem, no? Let earth become like spiritual world. So Srila Jiva Goswami explains that the Supreme Lord is not happy that Maya has to make the souls forget him and suffer. And Maya Devi herself feels ashamed to face the Supreme Lord because she has this role. She has the role of making the jivas forget their spiritual position, that they are Brahman. And the jivas think that they are material. That is the role of Maya Devi. So sometimes Maya Devi herself, she feels ashamed to face the Supreme Lord. What someone might ask, if God is all powerful, why he does not stop Maya Devi? So the scriptures explain that Krishna, he has given Maya this role of managing material creation. And she has been faithfully doing this service forever. And Maya is also a devotee. She is the energy of the Lord. And out of respect for her, Krishna does not interfere with her duty. So Maya is creating all the troubles. Maya is also making the jivas forget Krishna. But still, Krishna is not interfering because she is also devotee and she has this task given to her. Now, the next question which arises is why does not Krishna intervene if he is so merciful? Okay, Maya is making jivas forget their swarupa, and so many material tribulations are also created. So, is that Krishna is not feeling merciful toward jivas? What is happening? Why he is not intervening? So, this is a deeper question. So Krishna is not only powerful, but he is also infinitely merciful. So why does not he stop Maya from troubling the jivas? The answer involves the nature of freedom and choice. So for Krishna, who is the absolute truth, uh, for him to be the absolute truth, then everything should be absolute. So everything should exist, which is available to Jiva to choose from his free will. There should be infinity. There should be something which is finite also. There should be something absolute, like in the spiritual world. There should be something relative also, like the material world. There should be liberation, moksha, and there should be bondage also of the samsara. So if there is no possibility of illusion, then freedom will be meaningless. So even though Krishna does not stop Maya's role, he is still merciful. He is teaching the jivas how to get free from her by turning away from something which is finite, relative, something which has bondage, so something which is illusory, meaningless. Krishna is helping us to turn away from these things and surrendering to him. And someone who surrenders to Krishna, then Maya loses all her power over that soul who is fully surrendered to Krishna. So now the next question arises, if someone wants to surrender, as we discussed now, that the surrendered soul, surrender means someone who is practicing the limbs of Sharanagati, 6 limbs of Sharanagati are there, then Maya Devi loses power over that soul. The further question is, if someone wants to surrender, why does Krishna allow Maya to keep tempting them and blocking their path? Okay, if he wants to surrender, that's it. Now don't trouble anymore. But why are you still tempting us? Why are you still blocking our path? So Jiva Goswami answers by quoting Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.25. Satam prasangan mama viri samvido bhavanti rit karna rasayana katha. Tajjoshana asu aparga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anupramishyanti. So the verse it says 3.25.25. In the association of pure devotees, Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samhiga, discussion of my heroic deeds becomes pleasing to the ear and heart, just like we are doing now. Heroic deeds of the Lord. Earth is getting inundated, and now the problem is there, so the hero will come now. Entry of the hero. So Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvida. In the presence of Satam, that is pure devotees, the discussion of heroic deeds. So they are very pleasing to the ear and the heart. And by cultivating such hearing, one quickly advances on the path of liberation, uh, developing faith, attachment, and devotion. That is the translation of this verse. So, in the association of pure devotees, when we hear the heroic deeds of the Lord, they are very pleasing to the ear and the heart. And when one is giving reception to such heroic deeds, one quickly advances on the path of the following: first, liberation; second, developing faith; third, attachment to Krishna; fourth, devotion. Devotion is progressive. So, this is the result. So, Maya's obstacles, they force the soul to think very deeply, reflect on the suffering, become serious about spiritual life. If so, obstacles, they help us to develop strength, sharpen our intelligence, and purify one's desire for developing attraction to Krishna. So, although obstacles are unpleasant, they help the jiva turn towards God with greater sincerity. The problem is that the jiva is always identifying with the material nature, and material nature is transient. Sometimes happiness, sometimes distress. We'll discuss this also later. That when the problem comes, then the soul is forced to think deeply, reflect, and then he discusses the heroic deeds of the Lord, and then becomes very happy. Another question which can be raised is, when pleasure comes in material life, then we become forgetful of the Lord. So why you are giving some pleasure in material nature? Just keep misery and misery alone. In that way, one will not become distracted, and one will quickly advance. One will not feel nice about this material arrangement. So that anyway, that we'll discuss also later. Why it is not that material nature has only suffering, why there is some sprinkling of material enjoyment also. So now the next question is, why does God allow Maya to keep unqualified souls out of his realm? So in the spiritual world, God only enjoys loving exchanges with pure unconditional devotees. If unfit souls who are still selfish and ego-centered, they were allowed inside, they would disrupt this pure love. Therefore, is another duty of Maya, or another aspect to Maya's keeping us in illusion or testing us, that Maya is working very hard to ensure that qualified souls can enter God's realm. This is her service, and God respects this and does not interfere. Krishna respects this, just like a jailer or police force is there, and they are keeping the criminals inside the jail, not allowing them to roam freely on the streets. So the governor of the state, he respects that activity of the police. So instead of showing compassion to the prisoners inside the jail, he appreciates the service of the police who are keeping the criminals inside the jail. That is the service of Maya. So Krishna is appreciating the service of Maya much more than showing compassion to, of course, he shows compassion or showing mercy to the souls. You know. So he shows mercy, but in a different way, not in a way that uh, the effect of Maya's role is completely negated or Maya's role is completely negated, not like that. So, what is the real purpose of Maya's punishment then? So, Krishna did not appoint Maya just to make Jiva suffer. Her true purpose is to correct them and push them back to God. So, correction of Maya Devi, it has three functions. First function is giving karmic reactions for wrong deeds, you know, so that the Jiva reflects, he thinks what is correct, what is wrong. So first is giving karmic reactions for wrong deeds. Second is deterring future sins. So when a person becomes intelligent enough to understand that wrong deeds bring wrong reactions or bad reactions, then he will be stopped by, he'll not commit future sins. He'll be afraid. Third is forcing the jivas to look for a solution to suffering. Force the jivas to look for a solution to their suffering. You know, this is similar to government punishing the criminals, not out of cruelty, but to correct them. So now this third point, forcing the jivas to look for a solution, it is not available in other religions. You know. They say that okay, God has made some plan and system, and so if you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad, which is basically the karmic reactions are explained. But this system is meant for the jivas to look for a solution to suffering. That is not explained because they don't have a concept of afterlife. So, how you look for a solution to suffering? You do bad, you suffer in hell for eternity. Where is the solution there? So, like a governor respects the police and the judges, similarly, Krishna respects Maya's role. So, this suffering of the jivas is like a wake up call. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, it says 10th canto, 87th verse, 87th chapter, sorry, second verse, 1087.2. So it says that the Supreme Lord created the intelligence, the senses, the mind, the vital force, the prana of beings so that they could perceive sense objects. They can take birth, they can experience life, and ultimately they can attain liberation by transcending false conceptions. So you can all read this verse later on when you get time. So sometimes question comes that why Krishna created this world. This is explained in this verse 1087.2. So Supreme Lord created everything, the intelligence, senses, mind, prana, so that the living entities they can take birth, they can perceive things, they can experience life. And why all this? To ultimately attain liberation by transcending all false conceptions. So this world is designed for liberation. This world is designed not for experiencing pain or experiencing karma that will anyways come, but it is designed for liberation. This is told in Bhagavatam. So, anyways, the karma is there, suffering is there. So, is God indifferent to our suffering? Absolutely not. God is not indifferent. Out of his causeless mercy, he is giving us the Vedas. He is he comes personally, time and again, like teaching Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He comes in other incarnations as Vyasa. He comes in the form of other gurus, and he also comes in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. He comes in form of deities. So many things are there. So in Kali Yuga, when jivas they lost the capacity to understand spiritual truths, Krishna made them simpler through itihasas and Puranas. And finally, he gave Bhagavatam, the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge. So jivas cannot know spiritual truth by their own effort. God alone reveals himself to those who sincerely turn to him. So, in his form as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he even gives Krishna Prem, which is not easily available or not available even in Vaikuntha planets. So, there is no fear of punishment for the realized soul. When a soul gains true spiritual knowledge and realization, he no longer needs to fear punishment. So, another very interesting verse from Bhagavad Gita 4.37. It says, as a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn all reactions to material activity, all reactions to of material activities to ashes. Just like blazing fire is turning firewood to ashes, similarly, the fire of knowledge, it is burning all reactions to ashes. So, this punishment or this turmoil which happens in this world, and then eventually the Lord is coming. So, sometimes the turmoil it is troublesome. We see that even the demigods, the sages, they are also afraid when these things happen. So, punishment is meant to awaken knowledge that frees the soul forever. That is the reason of punishment, to awaken our knowledge. So now the question is, when pleasure in this world distracts us, or when there is pleasure in this world, we feel that what is the problem? We are living nicely. Why to get out of this world? So everybody in this world is like that. Why allow pleasure in the first place? Someone might ask, if suffering helps, why let the jivas enjoy little bit also? Why not give them constant misery? So they have no other choice but to turn to God. Give them constant misery. So Jiva Goswami explains that constant misery is not possible. Pain and pleasure are relative. So everything is relative in this world. So pain is there, pleasure has to be there. Pleasure is there, pain has to be there. So even a reduction in pain, it feels like pleasure. If there is only misery, if misery reduces, it feels like pleasure. So continuous misery, continuous suffering will not help self-realization, because the mind will become too agitated to grasp spiritual truth. That is why we see that the people who don't have a background of spiritual knowledge, when they are suddenly put in too much misery, it becomes very difficult for them to turn towards God. So when the mind is too much agitated, then grasping the spiritual truth becomes difficult. So misery alone is not enough. Without knowledge, people simply get used to misery. Just like we see in today's world, people don't have knowledge. We saw this verse from Bhagavad Gita which speaks about knowledge burning all the reactions to ashes. 4.37. So people today, they don't have knowledge, and so they are getting used to the misery. They don't feel that there is what is the problem with misery, or they don't understand only that they are miserable. So they simply get used to it. So true awakening, it requires knowledge from the scriptures. Patanjali, he says in his Yoga Sutras also that everything in this world is suffering to a wise person. And Krishna also says 9.33 Bhagavad Gita, Anityam Sukham Lokam Imam Prapya Bhajaswamam. That having attained this temporary miserable world, Anityam Asukham Lokam, Imam Prapya Bhajaswamam. So you do my bhajan, engage in devotion unto me. Also 2.15 Samadukha Sukham Dhiram So Mritattvaya Kalpate. So Amrutvaya Kalpate. O best among men, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, is steady in both, is certainly eligible for liberation. This is 2.15 Bhagavad Gita. So God has a two-part plan. In short, he has a balanced plan for the jivas. First is that Maya Devi corrects the jivas through hardship, illusion, and Krishna will guide them through avatars, scriptures, devotees. That is what we see in the uh, pastimes of the Lord. First, there is hardship and illusion, which is coming through the agency of Maya. And the second step is God is guiding, Krishna is guiding all the jivas who are in this hardship and illusion through different avatars, different gurus, devotees, and scriptures. So together, Maya Devi's role and Krishna's role, together both the roles, they help the soul to get proper knowledge and turn back to Krishna. So first, when he gets the knowledge, he has to understand, he will begin to understand that he is suffering. Otherwise, people don't understand only that they are suffering. So Maya Devi also, she has a personal form. In the Kena Upanishad, there is a story. After the Devas defeated the Asuras, they grew proud in the Devasura uh, Yuddha which happened. So God appeared, Krishna appeared as a Yaksha to humble all the demigods. So Agni and Vayu, so basically all the demigods, they could not understand who is this Yaksha. So first they invited Agni. They said, Agni, please go and see who is this Yaksha and what he wants to say. So Yaksha, who was Krishna himself, so he put a straw in front of Agni and he said that use all your force and burn the straw. And Agni, with all his force, he is the source of all the fire in the universe. He could not burn that straw. Then the demigod sent Vayu. And the Yaksha told that with all your force, you try to move this straw. And Vayu, who is more powerful than Agni also, could not even move the straw with all his wind power. Then Indra approached. When Indra came, then the Yaksha vanished. And then Maya Devi, she appeared as Uma Devi, Durga. And she told Indra that actually this Yaksha is Krishna himself. So don't get proud. So if Krishna does not want, you cannot even move a straw. So that saying in the English language that even a straw does not move without God's will. Actually, that it's a story in Kena Upanishad. So Maya Devi, she has a personality also. She is a person. So Vyasadeva, he saw Mayadevi standing behind Krishna in embarrassment. It was for real. So she was feeling shame over misleading all the Jivatmas. So what is the need of Maya Devi now? If Krishna can manage all these things, what is the need of Maya here? Anyway, Maya Devi does everything by the will of Paramatma only. So if Paramatma can do everything, what is the need of Maya? So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvayonishu Kaunteya Murtaya Sambhavantiya Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapita. So the Shaktas, they say that Shakti is the topmost and others are secondary. Vishnu, Shiva, they are secondary and Shakti is primary, is the most powerful. So Krishna tells here that, O son of Kunti, it should be understood that all species of life are made possible by birth in material nature, and I am the seed giving father. 14.4 Bhagavad Gita. So, just as a woman, she needs a man to conceive, similarly, Maya Devi needs Krishna as the seed giving father. Aham bija pradaha pita. Also, Krishna says in 9.10, Maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. This material nature, which is one of my energies, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, producing all moving and non moving beings. Under its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So, Maya Devi also, she depends on Krishna's guidance for her work. Krishna does not personally do the things of creating trouble for the jivas because he does not want to do that. He only wants to enjoy. So his energies are doing this. So we see here all over the Puranas, Itihasas, this is the same construct. First, some trouble, some suffering, tribulation is created by Maya Devi. And when nobody can solve it, some people try to solve it also, and they all fail miserably. And then there comes the entry of the hero, and then he will come and he will save everybody. And then Satam Prasangan Mamavirya Samvido. The devotees, they will discuss about these pastimes and it will give, uh, it will cool their hearts of the heat of material nature, from the heat of material nature. So this is the crux of all the Puranas, Itihasas. Satam Prasangan Mamavirya Samvidam. That devotees should sit together and hear about the wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And just by giving oral reception to the pastimes of the Supreme Lord, what happens? The doors of liberation are opened. So liberation is definitely, it is difficult, but from other perspective, it is not very difficult. So if we are contemplating properly, reflecting that what we should do, what we should not do, and we simply give oral reception to Krishna's pastimes of different avatars of the Supreme Lord, then the doors of liberation will be open because the universe is created for liberation only. The universe is not created so that the soul keeps suffering unlimitedly. That is not the purpose of creation. As it was told in the verse in 10th canto, 1087 2. So we stop here. Any questions you can ask?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful class. I think you very nicely, in a very structured way, you had this particular concept of why this creation takes place and what is it we are trying to, and what is the real purpose of this creation is not for us to suffer, but as you said very nicely towards the end, it is for us to awaken to ourselves to the real purpose of life, how we go. And you wonderfully explained the role of Maya, how she plays a role, and why Krishna does not, Krishna is more favorable to her because she's doing her role. And how you also very nicely explained, in fact, that if we had only happiness here, it will be a problem. Or if we have only have suffering, we will not be able to understand the spiritual aspect of it. So we do get a moment of happiness or relatively less pain, which makes us feel happy. And all this is just to make sure that it awakens us um, to to understand that the real purpose of why we are here. And also the particular reference where you actually gave us is how do you get that? It's only through association with devotees as well as giving an oral reception to hearing the pastimes of the Lord, which is most important. And you just talked about how how the initial stages about the karmic reactions, which actually forces us to look for a solution and look towards God, which is not explained in any other religion, but it comes wonderfully in the Sanatana Dharma. And also you mentioned about this punishment is more to awaken us if we had no. So it's basically punishment is used to awaken our real knowledge. And you were talking about how the pleasure actually distracts us generally from the goal. And this material world is full of dualities, but it is with the purpose that it awakens our thought process towards getting back to the real purpose of life. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I've just unmuted the line, so I would request devotees to share their reflections, or if any questions, please do that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu. Thanks for the wonderful class. Prabhu, when you are explaining about 4.37, Prabhu, I had this doubt that is it just the knowledge or the transformation that the knowledge brings, burns the sins to ashes, Prabhu?
Yes, so definitely transformation will come through knowledge. And getting knowledge itself is a transformation because the jiva is in avidya. Avidya means forgetfulness of one's swarupa. And knowledge means understanding one's swarupa. Initially, it means understanding that one is Brahman or spiritual in nature. And when that knowledge increases, then one actually understands one's swarupa if he is on the path of bhakti yoga also. So getting knowledge itself is a transformation. And knowledge is also progressive. So as a person is advancing on the path of his spiritual practice, then that knowledge is also advancing like that. So this knowledge is it is relative to one's spiritual practice, and so the transformation which we are talking about is actually relative to one's practice. So this knowledge is realized knowledge which we are talking about here. It is not theory. So people can live in a theory world also, but here we are speaking about true knowledge. Okay.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So I was thinking I'm getting this knowledge, but I'm not feeling that knowledge. So wanted to know, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams.
Thank you, Mataji. And I think Neha Mataji has raised a hand. Please go ahead. unmute and please ask your question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Pranam. Prabhu, if we are in a difficult situation of any kind, so how to understand it is due to our karma phal, or it's some arrangement of our Guru Tattva or Krishna, so that we can understand the true nature of this material world, that is Dukhalayam, and how to overcome and how to cope up with our situation. Hare Krishna.
So we are in trouble because of our own karma, nothing else. So there are two types of suffering in this world. One is because of our own karma, prarabdha, which is there for everybody actually. And another type of suffering is given by Krishna, which is only given to pure devotees. Because through their life, Krishna wants to show that even in the times of disaster, how they deal with the situation. So, like the case of Pandavas, we can say, and Prahlad Maharaj, so many examples are there. So, Prahlad Maharaj is not tortured because he had bad karma, that okay, he has such a bad karma, every day he'll be tortured in a different way. Or Pandavas are not being tortured, or people are trying to kill them or sabotage them. So that is a different suffering, or even suffering which comes in life of acharyas, we can say, like Ramanuja, or all the acharyas actually, they have some suffering, We see life of Roop Sanatan and Haridas Thakur, he's flogged in the marketplace. So it is not because of their bad karma, but because something is Krishna wants to show through their example something, how they are going to react to that situation. But in our case, definitely suffering is because of our own karma and nothing else. So if we don't have a karma for a specific type of suffering, then nothing can happen to us. You saw recently, in this plane crash, this guy is walking out of this big ball of fire. Nothing happens, as if nothing has happened. He has some scratches on his head and he's walking out. If you see that ball of fire after the plane crash, that plane had so many tons of fuel that escaping out of such a big ball of fire, it is impossible. The temperature will reach hundreds of degrees centigrade. And even if you are not injured physically, just the heat will melt you. The dead bodies which they found there, they're all melted. So this guy is walking out as if nothing happened to him. So if you don't have karma to suffer in a certain way, then you will not suffer. But if you have karma to suffer, then you will suffer. So karma is only responsible, nothing else. In our case, in
Okay.
case, and how to cope with that, this you can cope with that by doing this only, satam prasangan mama virya samvida. So whenever someone is in distress, he should take shelter of the pastimes of the Lord, read Bhagavatam. Immediately you will feel the effect. Take shelter of the holy names or the pastimes of the Lord. So that has an immediate effect. One can experience it also. Okay.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just had one question. Now, normally we always say we're not talking of liberation. We want something beyond. Devotees don't want liberation. So in this particular verses which you called as liberation, this is actually getting back to the spiritual world, right, Prabhu?
Yeah, liberation is different for different people. Those who want to merge, those who want Sayujya Mukti, for them it is merging in Brahman. That is also liberation. Then some people want the other four types of liberation. That is, they are available in Vaikuntha planets. And those who are following Bhakti Yoga, for them it is situated in their own Swarupa and serving uh, some form of the Lord, whether Krishna or some other form in Vaikuntha planets. So for devotees, it is Swarupa means Swarupa, liberation is Swarupana Vyavasthiti. So Mukti means Swarupana Vyavasthiti.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just want to make one small announcement to the devotees that tomorrow we'll be having the Srimad Bhagavatam class live from temple starting at between 9:15 and 10:15. So please take note of that. And then we'll also be having a Nagar Sankirtan and the Rath Yatra flyer distribution starting from 10:30. So please be there. I request you all to join for us. And Prabhu, thanks once again for your wonderful nectar today and to the devotees for joining for this particular gathering. In fact, what you spoke today in terms of how to liberate ourselves is by hearing about the glories, and that's what we heard for the last 1 hour. Thank you for that, and thank you to all the devotees for joining us. We just end with a Vaishnava Pranam. Vansha Kalpatarupascha, Kripa Sindhubhyo Bhurucha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnava Pranam, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai, Jagat Guru Sri Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grant Rashimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Sikant Radhe, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Dhanam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I just end the session now. Thank you. Thanks for joining.